What is indeed going on, Jeromes? It's a beautiful Saturday. We got weekly Q&A. Lots of questions in there. Now, I did go through and remove similar questions. So if your question didn't get answered, that's one of the reasons why. A lot of people asking similar questions, so it's all good. First up, Mr. Payday, possibility on the Risner situation. Maybe the plan is bringing him in for competition this year, getting a look at him in practice and used to the offense, then resigning him next year when Ezra leaves, and he'll be our starting left guard. It's very plausible. It's a very plausible spot, and frankly, if Risner there as competition elevates the game of Ezra, even though he was playing well, as well as Ed Ingram, all for it, man. All for it. Brady, Andy, what's up? Appreciate the amazing content you put out for us every day. Hey, thank you. Who is one Vikings player that you feel will have a huge impact in the second half of the season that many people wouldn't think of? Asama. I think Asama, once his shoulder and toe get fully good to go, I think he's perfect for the sub-package defense that Flores wants to play. I feel like injuries sort of hampered him, and also Pace Jr. coming in like a freaking tornado, it has been amazing as well. But Awesome was a bad dude. Like he absolutely has talent. And also maybe King Kene, even though Chandler's been doing perfectly fine as a kick returner. I mean, Kene is the best kick returner in the National Football League, so having him back would be huge. Carter Kopp. Heard some talk of trade rumors around Hunter at the deadline, and surprised me that we're wondering if that's something we might do or not. Let me know what you think and what possibly get from. You could probably potentially get a one from a play. Well, say it. So I think the Vikings would only trade him if they're out of it, which I don't see happening. But squeezing a high two, or a team that potentially is going to have a late one, maybe, in this spot. It's funny, people can always tell when I'm sweating out. Ooh, I don't think they got it. I don't know. It's going to be close, man. Sorry, I'm watching the end of the Oklahoma State Kansas State game. Think I get the first down? Nah. Anyways, but I don't think that they will. And frankly, I think that they should be extending Daniel Hunter. That's where we should be at. Green lights. What do you think are the biggest priorities for the Vikings to be a true competitor? And do you think it's too late for this year? I don't think it's too late for this year. I think they have to get better in the trenches. I think long-term offensive line, I do think that they have the pieces there, and it's not like they haven't invested draft picks. Well, not this last offseason, but, I mean, everyone on the starting offensive line is a second-round pick or higher. But defensively, they need beef. Like, they need a 350-pound nose tackle. They need Cameron Hayward-type defensive ends if they want to stick with the three-man front. So that's what they got to do, man. They got to do. All right, so they're reviewing it. Whatever. Next up, Deshaunte Peterson. If you could be involved in the NFL, not just as a player or coach ref, what would you choose to do? Owner. Not just as a player, but coach, ref, owner. That's it, man. It's a pretty easy one. Bridget Onosa. What's your take? All right, so for the owner, not only for the money, but also having a civic responsibility and being like a caretaker because some of these teams have been in their markets for going on 100 years, and for the Vikings it's what 60 plus. They become part of the community, they become part of the identity, and you're the owner, sure, and you're selling parking and beers and jerseys on game day, yes, but also you are a steward of civic identity and civic pride. And I think that more owners need to take that to heart, as opposed to, if you don't fund my stadium, we're moving. Nah. What's your take on Caleb Williams' name of the Vikings, one of the only 5 teams he wants to play for? And I understand whoever ends up in one is probably going to take him, but he can pull a John Elway. He can pull a Eli Manning, and the Vikings can still end up with their dude. It's happened before. George M. Hi, Andy. Love the show. Thank you. Would you want Justin Fields on your team? I mean, if it's Justin Fields of the Commies and Broncos game, sure. If not, not so much. Well, Kansas State got the ball. There we go. Let's see here. Sheldor, the meme god. So with Fields, he needs perfect protection and weapons. That's what he needs. But he doesn't always have that, even though the Thursday night game was a bit of an anomaly, is what it is. Next up, Sheldor, the meme god. How do you feel about the future of the O-line? Any college offensive line we're drafting? Cooper Beebe, Kansas State. Watching him right now. Stud. Absolute stud. Or perhaps a Kwesi trade for offensive lineman in the league. I actually feel pretty good about the future of the O-line. Ezra's definitely going to leave in free agency to be a left tackle somewhere. No shame in that game. Darisaw is one of the best left tackles in the game. O'Neill's one of the best right tackles in the game. Bradbury has proven that he is becoming a top 10 adjacent type center. I still have hope for Ed Ingram. He just really has to cut down on the mistakes that just break the back of this team. And, I mean, Risner in the mix. I do think that the future of O-line could be pretty good. Defensive line, they got work to do. Ryan, first off, play Jaquelin Roy. Ryan Zawab, aloha. What up, brother? Do you feel that the Vikings O-line can open up the rushing game to give the Vikings better odds in converting third downs in manageable situations against the stout Chiefs front four? Yes. I think that they definitely have to ride it out with Madison and Akers, and also getting some confidence with this offensive line because they can block. They can run block. Yeah, they've been getting after it even without Bradbury. But I think that the Vikings, I mean, the best defense is for Mahomes is just keeping him off the field. And the Vikings stringing together some long-ass drives, wearing down that defense, especially that front four. Yeah, go from there, man. Keel Cap, with Cincinnati salary cap issues next year, could you see one of their talented wide receivers coming to the Vikings? Not coming to the Vikings per se. Higgins probably going to be the odd man out. I think that they potentially could tag and trade him. Oh, that's not good. I think that potentially could tag and trade him. But overall, I think that. Sorry, I'm trying to cash out a live jelly bean wager. Next up, Knack Dog. Was there no footage of Kirko Chains after last week's win? Love seeing him like that. So out of his element, but goes along with it. Love it. I feel like the Panthers win wasn't Kirko Chains' spot. I mean, the coming back from the Bills win, yeah, that was 100% Kirko Chains, man. But just getting off the schneid against a winless team, nah, just be quiet. Like if the Vikings go on the road, let's see, the next big road win at Packers. I mean, it's like a 40-minute flight. Yeah. Falcons, whatever. Broncos, whatever. Raiders, Bengals. Vikings don't really have any tough road games left per se, which is obviously good. Oklahoma State interception. Let's go. Next up. Enclave World. Why do you think Kevin O'Connell is so hesitant to start Risner? And will the hot dish and your non-football discussion content make a return? I think you got great advice, insight beyond football. Gives me jack of all trades vibes, and it's awesome. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Hot dish. I mean, hot dish just takes up too much time. Non-football stuff. Just talk about life, which we had quite a few of those this off season. Well, a lot of life stuff happened. But, I enjoy talking about stuff like that because football is great, but this isn't – I mean, this is kind of a football channel, but also not really, if you understand. Hesitant to start Risner. I feel like they're hesitant because they know that once they make the change, they can't go back. And even though I think that Risner would be an upgrade right now over Ed Ingram – Risner only having 3 weeks of practice. I mean, also what happens if Risner sucks? I mean, what happens then? I mean, I doubt it, but it's also a non-zero chance. So I think that they're trying to give Ed Ingram the most opportunities possible. They're focusing on the positive with him, which is fine. And, I mean, Kwesi invested a second-round pick, and Chris Cooper and Kevin O'Connell in the scouting department, they signed off on it. All right, so I think that's what they're trying to do. Next. Run that clock, baby. So Turbo Prelude. If you go back and use modern methods to fix a previously career-ending injury like torn ACLs, Achilles, who would you pick to fix so we could see his career continue? Greg Cook, the quarterback for the Bengals back in the day, so he was going to be Bill Walsh's OG, superstar quarterback, but then, well, if they would have had Greg Cook, I mean, maybe the West Coast offense doesn't become a thing because then it went to Virgil Carter, and that's when basically short passing game replacing the running game. That's when Bill Walsh had to invent the Cincinnati River offense. eventually known as the West Coast offense. But Greg Cook would be one. Greg Childs, selfishly. I mean, he was going to be the man. Coming out of Arkansas, teammates with Jarius Wright. Let's go. Gale Sayers, I guess, even though, yeah, he's a Bear. But, I mean, Gale Sayers, like the way that people talked about him before his injury and some of the highlights is just, he was Barry Sanders before Barry Sanders. And, yeah, we go with that. Oh, wait, no. Bo Jackson, that's the obvious one. That's dumb of me. Yeah, Bo Jackson. Traveler, do you think we'll start seeing more 50-50 split with Madison and Akers? I think it's possible. Well, actually, it's possible. I don't think it's probable. I think Madison is still going to be that first punch. I think Akers will be a change of pace. I think it could be a hot hand situation as well. I wouldn't put that past Kevin O'Connell. Milo. The Vikings in 2024 draft have a first, second, 2 fourths, 5th, and 2 sixths. Seeing how this rooster has panned out so far, what do you think Kwesi will draft with these picks? Oh man, that's way too early because we still have free agency and people leaving, people coming aboard. So I don't know. Miles O'Leary, how good can this pass rush be if Daniil and Davenport are both on the field and healthy? Monstrous. Like Daniil is obviously elite. You saw that Marcus Davenport is a disruptive force when he's healthy and just getting after it. So I think the Vikings honestly could have a tier 1 pass rush if they're able to have both on the field and both healthy at the same time. Next, Cody Pierce, favorite game day food and drink, and do you ever plan on going to a live one this year? So, I mean, I love going to games, go to Twins games, go to Gopher games. It's great. But for Vikings games, I don't know what it is. Like, I obviously enjoy the game day experience. Went to every Vikings-Packers home game with my dad at the Dome back in the day. But I don't know. It's like, since we started the side hustle, I like being in the studio. I like watching the game. I like sweating some jelly bean wagers and sweating my fantasy teams. I like watching all the games, which is great. And I don't know. I enjoy being in my hole for game day. Favorite game day food and drink? We make a lot of soups recently. Chili is an obvious one. Wings is a pretty good one too. We don't really do pizza for games because our family tradition is Pizza Friday when we're all together at home. It's great. But making a lot of soups like chicken wild rice soup. We like beef and vegetable. We like mulligatawny. We like God, what else? Make a lot of pho or sort of like Asian-y noodly soups. Yeah, we do that a lot. New Tong Cha soup is great. I think Kevin O'Connell has a lot of work to do on play calling. Time management could improve as well. Do you think Kevin O'Connell's ego is in the way to just make a simple play call or simple plays, running slants, I don't think it's ego. I think it's just learning on the job. Yeah, because he called plays for a stretch in Washington. He didn't call plays with the Rams. Obviously, that's McVay. But I think it is just him growing and showing into the job. And I think that I actually think that he is relatively humble. And I think that he understands. I think he knows what he doesn't know. I think he's one of those types of coaches. Alex Weitzel. Whereas some young coaches get their first job, get a couple wins, all of a sudden they think that they're George Papa Bear Hallis, or they think that they invented football, but obviously not the case. How much do you think JJ will get paid if he puts up another 2,000 yards this season? I'm guessing around 33, 34 million per year, 35, 36, 37. No. Cypher. What are your top 5 favorite game day meals, appetizers? I sort of went through that, like soups. So my wife is the best wife ever. She bought me a Blackstone, so we're gonna make like smash burgers and stuff. So that'd be great. Brats are really good too. Yeah. We make really good queso. Just gotten back into that, man. And who would you rather have, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, or Drake May? Hope you're having a great day. Continue the great work, Skull. Hey, thanks, you too. So Drake May was my default answer. Like, I like Bo Nix, except he's a little bit too streaky for me. I think J.J. McCarthy has all of the physical attributes that you want, except he's just stuck in a run-heavy offense with Harbaugh, and of course, I mean, you got Corum, who's should be in the Heisman race. Like, I understand why they run the ball a ton, but I think McCarthy once he gets into draft season, like once he gets to the combine, has some of those throws. I mean, oh my God, like think of the combine this year and like 16 quarterbacks just getting after it. It's gonna be great. Jesuithan, with C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson doing so well, do you think Caleb Williams might not pan out as well as Drake or other quarterbacks upcoming draft? I think that's a little bit of fooled by randomness. I mean, Caleb Williams is going to be a stud, and I don't think there's any correlation between him and Bryce Young's struggle so far. And I do think that Bryce Young is going to be good in this league, but right now it's a little bit dicey. But Carolina's offensive line and the lack of weapons and offensive play calling certainly aren't helping things at the moment. But so, I mean, Stroud was my favorite in the class because I felt like he is the safest and had the highest floor. I love Richardson because I think that he has the highest ceiling, and that's where we were at. Spiral Pod. Do you think Akers and Madison will have a split backfield? No. At least not to start. I think it'll be Madison's show for a hot second. Next up. Hopefully they just run out the clock because Daddy's got the under. Let's see. Osama been smoking. It's a great name. Outside quarterback, what position should the Vikings draft for their second top pick in 2024? Defensive tackle, nose tackle, or guard. One of the two. Study with Matt. If we can win 2 of the next 3 games, are we solidified a playoff spot? I'm an Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Fan, can you say good day, mate? In an Aussie accent, please. Good day. Good day, mate. Another shrimp on the barbie. Foster's. Something like that. I don't know, man. Let's see here. Oh, Vegemite sandwich. We love Natalie and Brulia. There you go. Crikey. All right, so next win to the next 3. So say beat the Chiefs, beat the Bears, lose the Niners. Yes, I think the Vikings are firmly back in the hunt, so they would be 3-4. But also with the win over the Bears, which isn't a gimme anymore. Plus the Bears got 10 days to get ready for us at home. Great. So the Vikings have 5 division games left, and yeah, I think I would like our chances in a sort of nebulous NFC. Oh, that was the wrong one. What'd I push? Nope. We need that one. Oh, I know what I did. There you go. Nailed it. Next. All right, so they're good. They're just taking any. Woo, got one. All right, so Michael Converse. Are there any Gophers players that you like for the Vikings? Tyler Nubin, Brevin Spanford. I haven't watched a ton of Gophers so far this season. I'm sure that there's a solid offensive lineman in there somewhere. Spanford, I think, is going to be a really good tight end. Frankly, I'm kind of shocked that he didn't declare last year, but obviously the Vikings have an embarrassment of riches at tight end, so they're good to go. Jermaine Williams. I remember you saying you were a chef. Would you ever consider doing a cooking competition show like Hell's Kitchen? Maybe not Hell's Kitchen per se. I considered like applying for Top Chef back in the day, but I don't know. But Top Chef is still my wife and I's one of our favorite shows. Major Elk. Love the show. Been following since 17. Should I buy a smoker or sous vide? Both. Not both. So I would say smoker because you can do a lot of sous vide adjacent things with just regular pots and pans and a thermometer, but you can't even if you apply smoke in like a hotel pan and just like chips and a butane lighter. It's not the same as like a smoker. So yeah, I get the smoker. Nate, is this the last year of Kirk Cousins? If so, who do you see as quarterback 1 next season? If I were to wager, I would say that Kirk Cousins is a quarterback next year and the year after that. But also that would not necessarily preclude the Vikings from drafting a quarterback. Tank for Caleb Williams. Are we still a 10-win team? Yeesh. All right, so let's count. Let me count the ways. All right, so we'll exclude the Chiefs and the Niners for now. All right, so win Bears 2, win Packers 3, win Falcons 4, win Saints 5. Yeah. Win Broncos 6, win Bears 7. Win Raiders 8. Bengals may be in a tailspin 9. We'll say we'll split with the Lions, so that's 10. Then you got the Packers, and then you got the Chiefs and the Niners. So yes, I think that we pointed out before from weeks 8 to 14, I think the Vikings may go undefeated during that stretch, maybe even further, depending on what happens with the Bengals. There we go. Next up, Tyler Brush. What's the solution for edge after the season? Potentially losing Davenport, Wanham, and Hunter. All three are in their final years. Doesn't look great. Andre Carr II. Moving Pace Jr. to edge and using him like Micah Parsons. I really hope that they extend Daniil. If Davenport does well, maybe offering him a short-term deal, maybe like a 2 or 3 year extension, sure. Or maybe even just franchise tagging him. Who knows? Eric Schmidt. Who is your favorite all-time Twins player? Which Vikings player would be the best baseball player? That's a great question. Favorite Twins player? Kirby Puckett for me. That was right in the wheelhouse for my generation. So I'd say Kirby. I actually really like Pat Mahomes, not just because of who his son is, but I just remember him as a relief pitcher and him begging Tom Kelly to pinch run. I don't know if he actually did. I'd have to look up the stats, but because I remember Pat Mahomes just be like, dude, I got wheels. Come on. I loved Jack Morris, but so I was like 5 during 91, so I don't necessarily remember it, but just watching the highlights. And I mean, Jack Morris is Clint freaking Eastwood, man. That's right. Like, oh, you want me to pitch 9 or 10? Whatever. I love that. So you're like Marty Cordova. Shane Mack was a stud. Pedro Munoz. I don't know why. Who else? I guess like modern-ish. I mean, yeah, Maurer Morneau, yes. Oh, Cuddy is my dude. Corey Koski. Yeah. All right, next, Milko status. Are you going to, which Vikings player would be the best baseball player? I bet you Brian O'Neill would be really good. Or, well, no. Wasn't Andrew DePaula like the back-to-back MVP for the Thielen softball game? Maybe him. There you go. Milko status. Are you going to Vegas for the Raiders game? Yes. If so, will the after party be to celebrate the victory skull? I might just watch the entire game from Blue Ox because, I mean, tickets are redonkulous, man. It's like $400 for the nosebleed section. I don't know, man. I'm a man of the people. I'll just go where the people are. Tyler Brush. Panthers say they need a true wide receiver one to help Bryce. Rip Thielen. Who is your betting favorite sent there for trade deadline? Mine's Devontae or Mike Evans? Jerry Jeudy. It's so funny that they need a wide receiver one, and then DJ Moore goes off like that. It's funny. Jack Hall, would you rather beat the Chiefs or the Niners? Niners, because it's a conference game and that matters more in tiebreakers than the Chiefs game would. How's it going? Why isn't Kevin O'Connell generating touches for Jordan Addison? I think as of right now, Addison is just a sort of afterthought in the offense, which is fine because you got JJ first, you got TJ second, you got KJ sort of third. And, I mean, Addison, like that, Addison's touchdown against the Eagles, I think it was shown that he was the backside post of, and it was supposed to be a screen pass, I believe it was. And Addison was just like the lookout route. So I think that he needs to do a better job of incorporating him because obviously teams are just going to keep doubling and tripling JJ. Skull, purple, and gold. If Kirk puts up MVP numbers, do you think the Vikings re-sign him to a 1-year deal or move on? I still think that they'll re-sign him. I think they will. Rob, if we lose to Chiefs, is Byron Murphy to blame for talking trash? Nah. We just got to back it up. Miles O'Leary, which player on the Vikings will win or lose the Chiefs game? X-Factor type guy? I feel like this is going to be a big Ivan Pace Jr. game where Pace isn't necessarily a coverage guy, but patrolling the middle of the field at times where Kelsey obviously loves to roam. That would be big. Rushing Mahomes would be big. Spying on Mahomes so he doesn't pick up those cheap rushing yards would be big. Yeah. Person, man, frying pan. How was your day? It's fantastic. How was yours, babe? Kanye West, biggest fan. Is Kwesi actually doing a good job? Well, I think there's certain fans where like he can do no right, and every single mistake that he makes is the end of the world. Like imagine if Kwesi had made the Chase Claypool trade, where you trade 32 and you get like a 6th round pick in 2025. Just imagine what that would be like, man. Zerg, but I think overall, the Vikings had some tough decisions. I think that if Spielman was still here, I mean, the Vikings would still have some really tough decisions. I mean, I still think that there would have been that veteran purge as well. Zaragoza, which team do you think would have whooped ass and made a statement if we made the Super Bowls? Vikings Broncos 98, Vikings Colts 09, Vikings Patriots 17. I think the Vikings would have won all three games. I think the Vikings would have whooped the Colts ass in 09. And I mean, Vikings Broncos, that would have been a hell of a game. But also remember, I believe John Randall would have been hurt, and I don't think that he would have been able to play in the Super Bowl. So it would have been a contrasting styles. The Broncos obviously just love bashing it with Terrell Davis and that great offensive line. Alex Gibbs, outside zone, let's go. And the Vikings were high flying all over the place. But no, Vikings would have whooped the Colts ass. So bad, man. ENF, is this Chiefs game the most important game for Kevin Collins' Vikings coaching career so far? Yes. Yeah. I feel like some fans are losing faith in him and this team. I mean, 0-3 start will do that. User, Jared Allen has the most sacks of any non-Hall of Famer who is eligible. Jim Marshall has the most AV, average, or whatever the PFR average thing is, for any non-Hall of Famer who is eligible. Vikings bias. Anti-Vikings bias is what it is. Wriggle, whatever that one is. Trade deadline target, lots of winnable games after the bye, but Vikings need some help. Aaron Donald, or maybe someone more realistic. Need a nose tackle. We need 340 pounds of just dude in that middle, man. Yeah. Colin Eagle, do you think Kirk's deep ball isn't as good as it was? Maybe he's showing signs of regression. Maybe he doesn't have the distance as he used to, but it's still pretty damn good. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Conan Billy Bone. Why was the running game so much better against Carolina? I think dedication to it. I think using Josh Oliver a lot more. I think that the Vikings offensive line was starting to get some continuity, with Schluman out there. And Carolina has a good defensive front. But so it was really impressive that they did that, especially against like Derek Brown and company. Aaron Dov. Any interest in new linebacker free agent Randy Gregory? He just got traded to the Niners. It's one of those spots where it was reported that he was cut, and then last second before the paperwork was done, San Francisco came in. That's just gross. Like, how did they just get Randy Gregory like that? Autumn Voyage. Outside the Vikings, best, worst uniforms in the league. Best? I'd say the Seahawks throwbacks, and the worst is the Seahawks lime green jerseys now. Best is, I'd say the Seahawks throwbacks, or not gonna lie, I love the Raiders jerseys, man. Worst, commies. Yeah, commies are not good. Zeke, why isn't Risner starting? I thought he was like a top 10 guard. Well, I think they're trying to show deference to Ed Ingram, and maybe they just think that he needs some more practice time. Who knows? Matt Tully, worst case scenario, we lose JJ to a trade. Do you think Addison takes the number one position competently? If not in general, do we get someone else? I think Addison will be one of those guys where he can be a number one, but you prefer him as a number two. I think he'll be one of those. I think he'll be like a Chris Godwin type receiver. Leo, is Lewisine a bust, or do you think he has potential to make some noise? I think he's got potential. He's just got to stay healthy. And remember, we're just over a year removed from him having a completely shattered leg, so I give it time. Corey Saylor, how do you handle what seems to be that most comments are from the far ends of the bell curve of Vikings fandom? This clearly can translate to other aspects of life. What seems to be the most common? Sometimes I read the comments, sometimes I don't. I mean, not to like brag or anything, but there's a lot of comments to go through. But I understand, people get very emotional, and also people get entrenched in their way of thinking, and that applies to football as well as politics, life, and anything like that. And I don't know. I generally give people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, like. It's so funny. So like the comment like spam filter like catches a lot of things, and sometimes I go into that folder and it's like, man, people say some horrible stuff. I mean, not about me per se, but just like about the team or players in general. It's like, man, that is kind of rough, man. There you go. So if you ever feel like you're like shadow banned, that you ended up in the spam folder, man. Rick. Is there any TV announcer that you can't stand? Mine's Joe Buck. Kind of Romo. It's weird to say because I really initially like Romo. Grayson Bosch. Why does your team ignore the trenches on both sides of the ball every year? You can have all the toys in the world, but well, I feel like that's a false narrative for the offensive line. I'm a defensive line. Sure, yeah, you can have a case there, but Darisaw, 23 overall. Bradbury, number 18 overall. Brian O'Neill, second rounder. Ezra Cleveland, second rounder. Ed Ingram, second rounder. What more do you want? User. Is Taylor Swift a distraction for Sunday's afternoon game? Who cares? Gregory Johnson, how many turnovers this week? I'm saying 3. I say we get 3. I think they get some pressure on Mahomes, and he serves up 3 meatballs, and the Vikings keep it clean. Arid Rasta. Did something click with Justin Fields over these past couple of games? Do you think he's for real at this point? I think he certainly has all the potential in the world. And maybe the Bears are just getting their head out of their ass, and Getsy's calling a better game, so it could be it. I mean, also, it's so beautiful seeing how many Bears fans are upset that their team won a game and their team is actually looking good. Because they're all about Team Tank, man. Showdown. Cowboys pushing for a trade for Jordan Hicks. Nah. Cody's Nuts. Name something you'd say to Kelsey about Taylor Swift to piss him off and get in his head. This is a family show, so pass. Casey Bowles. Ingram needs to put Brindle and Risner in. Yes. Love me some Brindle. Mr. McLean, Twins at 5. Yeesh. Eric Anderson. How do you gas yourself up when life gets you down? I don't know. Like, I understand I come across as like a very positive person when it comes to the Vikings, but I feel like in general in life, I'm pretty much like that too, where it's not something that I was like born with or is ingrained in me, but I generally just like if tough times happen or something negative pops up in your life, or you got a big expense, or you got like relationship problems, or you got whatever, or you got dead end job, or something bad just happens in your life. I always think that you'll just get through it. Like you've come a long way and you've overcome a lot of adversity in your life, and this will just be another chapter. Like everyone who climbs a mountain comes across false summits. Do you just quit there, or do you keep going? What do you do? And I know that's completely simplistic, but sometimes the most simple advice is the best. Yeah. I know us guys say it is what it is a lot, right? And we sort of like stuff down our feelings and emotions, but I feel like there is a balance where you can be emotional about things that happen to you, but also you can understand what happened. You can grieve if needed, whether it's something serious or something minor, and then move on, compartmentalize, and keep on going. Because what other choices do you have? That's really about it. And also, I feel like once you do that enough, you'll have the confidence where not everyone's religious, but I do consider myself a Christian and believe in God, and I feel like you're only given things that you can handle. Like you're never given a battle that you can't win. If that makes sense. All right, just paraphrasing like several different verses, but that's basically the premise. You'll get through it, man. Jersey Soldier. Why is the offensive play calling garbage? Same offensive coaches, head coach McVay, 2021, Super Bowl champs, so it was very bland. I don't know. Just keep getting JJ the ball. We'll go from there. Last one. Wild Bumbly. If we beat Kansas City Swifties this Sunday, we officially turn this ish around and go into the Super Bowl. Yes. Go win one for the Gipper guy. Skull Vikings. Yes, absolutely. And that's it. That's Q&A for this week. You guys are the best. Toss a little something in the Venmo. You know what to do. Skull production value.